In this video, I'll explain when you need to replace the piston or drive-in cap assembly in your WaterBoss or Aquamaster water softener, where to get them, and how to save money for your family by replacing them yourself. Hi, I'm Gary the Water Guy, and I simplify water filtration to help you conquer crappy water. So your Aquamaster or WaterBoss water softener is either beeping and showing home not found, it might have filled its brine tank with water, or it's stuck in a backwash cycle. Well, it's time to replace the drive-in cap assembly. Now, the piston may have worn seals and require replacement, but usually it has become stuck from debris entering the water softener or a piston ring failure, which, because the piston is stuck, causes the drive to fail too. If the water softener still goes through its cycles, but water is leaking past the piston rings, you might be okay just replacing the piston. Also, the replacement parts have changed, so be sure you watch this video to the end to see how to use the new parts with your Aquamaster or WaterBoss water softener. And by the way, what's the difference between an Aquamaster and a WaterBoss water softener? Well, they're the same water softener. They're sold under the WaterBoss name in the US, they're sold under the Aquamaster name in Canada. And these parts and the maintenance procedure is the same whether you have an Aquamaster or WaterBoss AMS 700, 900, or 950. All right, let's get started. So start by removing the valve cover, and to do that, you just put your fingers in at the back where the pipes come in and out, and just pull straight up. The whole cover will pop right off. Then start a regeneration cycle by holding down the regenerate button for 5 seconds or longer. Once you hear the motor start moving, you can let go, and once you hear that the water starts flowing through the water softener, then you can put it into bypass. Once it's in bypass, you can unplug the controller, disconnect it by pushing it to the right, and then lifting it back and folding it back. Next, to get proper access to the drive-in cap assembly itself, you're going to need to remove the motor. Now, you're going to need to do that anyway because you'll see the new drive-in cap assembly doesn't have a motor on it. So you're going to have to use the old motor and put it back onto the new assembly. Using a fairly small Phillips screwdriver, undo the screws off the motor. And as always, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Be careful you set the screws aside that they don't fall inside the brine tank. And also the screws that actually hold the motor in place are the very small ones. So there's 2 screws on this side and there's 4 screws on this side that hold the drive-in cap assembly in place. So I usually use a slightly larger Phillips screwdriver for those ones. Now, if your drain line goes up, you may get some water flowing back through, the water that's in that drain line. So just be careful that you're ready to catch any extra water that comes flowing back through the system. And again, set the screws aside. And then you have to undo the screws on the other side. Now, to just replace the drive-in cap assembly, you actually don't have to undo the ones at the back here, just the 2 that are at the front. Then you're going to have to undo the hex nut that connects the brine valve to the float assembly. Sometimes these are just hand tight and that's enough. Sometimes you'll have to use a pair of pliers to undo it. Then you can slide the whole, just free this up from the float assembly here, and then you can slide the whole drive-in cap assembly out, just like that. If your pistons, the seals have failed in your pistons, the seals may actually come partially off and be jammed. So what will happen is this will be very difficult to get out. You have to pry it out. Sometimes I've used different tools to actually pry it out. Sometimes I have to remove this end of the assembly and push on the other side, push toward the piston here to pull the whole thing out. But it will come out. You just have to be determined to get it out. Sometimes it slides out easily like this one here did. And if you do need to replace just the piston, then you need to grab it, turn it counterclockwise, 1, 2 clicks, and bring it up, wiggle a little bit so it comes out because it is keyed on the shaft. There it comes off. Put the new piston on, and again, turn it clockwise now, 1 click, 2 clicks, and you're done. So you notice the new drive-in cap assembly is a little bit different in that this fitting is a little bit different, but we'll deal with that in just a second. Now, one thing you have to be aware of is the new motor has to be installed here. Now, I've noticed these are shipped without the threads cut into there. So what I do is I use the old screws that we use from the old motor, and we use that to cut new threads in here. And to do that, I put a little bit of silicone grease in here and then just put the screws in. So a little bit of silicone grease in those holes, just to give it a bit of lubrication. And again, now the new drive end cap assembly does come with new screws and new O-rings for this, which I definitely suggest you use. But to cut the threads, I suggest you use the old screws, because you may mess up where the screwdriver goes into the actual Phillips head, and you don't want to do that on the new ones. And you do that on both sides. Now you don't have to put the screw them all the way in. You can just screw them in about 3/4 of the way, and then with the new screws you can finish it up when you tighten those in place. Another key difference you may notice at this point is that the pistons are slightly different design, but they still work exactly the same way. So the new drive end cap assembly comes with brand new O-rings. So again, you would coat those O-rings with plumber's clear silicone grease, and you just coat them. And we'll slide that over, put that into place. And the same with the small O-ring. Slides right over here. Now you slide the whole assembly in place. Now you don't hook up the motor yet. That gets done almost at the very end. So we slide that in. Don't tighten all the screws 100% when you're putting them in. You want to bring them all in about 90%. Once they're all in at 90%, then tighten them 100% each one. Now you notice the drive end cap assembly comes with this tubing. Now I don't know why they give you such a long piece of tubing. All you really need is 6 inches. So using a very, very sharp knife or something like that, cut it down to 6 inches, which is this length here. So now what we're going to do is we need to connect the two together. So you need to remove this red clip that's on here. Set that aside. And so this is like a quick connect fitting. So what you need to do, you see the silver line on here? You need to push that into the fitting, and you notice that it'll stop. But you have to keep on going until you actually don't see the silver line anymore. And that tells you that it's in far enough to make a watertight seal. And then grab this clip, pull back, and put it into place. Now we're going to need some of the fittings to attach to the float inside here off the old system. So you can see here we've got a series of fittings. You've got a hex nut, this black fitting, and then another one inside here. So you just pull those off, and you don't want to mix them up or how they're orientated. So we'll pull that off there. All right, great. Now onto the new tubing. You put the hex nut first with the smaller end going in, and then you add this piece, this white piece. Now you'll see that it's tapered. So there's a narrower end and a wider end. So the narrow end goes in first, and this black part, same thing too. It kind of looks like a top hat, a wider part and then a narrower part. So the wider part goes in first. That, great. And then we just loop it around and put it into here, like that. And then we tighten the hex nut. Now, if you have a newer version of the Aquamaster or WaterBoss water softener, it may actually have this same fitting that's here. It may already have that at the top of the float. And if you do, it would attach exactly the same as it does here. So this needs to be just slightly more than hand tight. So once you've got it hand tight, then just give it just a little bit more. And so that once it's in service, it doesn't leak. Then we need to attach the motor. So now you're going to use the new screws that came with the motor to attach the motor. And I find it's easier to attach the motor by putting the screw in at the bottom and attaching the bottom first. Now I should add at this point that, you know, obviously I have a lot of space here, but in your situation, you're probably going to have a wall back here, and it's going to be more and more difficult to work. So because of that, you may want to have different lengths of Phillips screwdrivers. You might want to use one like this. It might work a lot better for getting in behind here. But again, I can assure you, if you cut those threads ahead of time with the screwdriver, it's a whole lot easier to do it with the drive end cap assembly in your hands or on a workbench than it is trying to do it back here with a wall here, and it's probably dark and that kind of thing. Anyway, once you started it with the screw on the bottom, then you can put the screw into the top. Now, because you've pre-cut those threads for the screws, they go in quite readily. Then you need to put the controller back on. Now there's 4 clips at the back, so you need to slide it, make sure all 4 clips are properly engaged, but very important, make sure you push it all the way home. Then you can add power. So the first thing that the controller will tell you is that it's going home. So it needs to find the home position. Once it finds the home position, it's automatically going to go into a regeneration cycle. As it's heading home, you can take the water softener off of bypass and put it back into service. Now, as you start turning the bypass valve here, you'll notice water will start flowing through. And that beep tells us that now it's starting that regeneration cycle. So once it's back into service, check it over to make sure there's no leaks. If there's any leaks, you can take it back, put it back into bypass, and you can fix those leaks right away. But you need to let it go through a full regeneration cycle at this point. Now, as it's going through that cycle, make sure you keep checking back to make sure that it's not leaking at different stages of that regeneration cycle. And if you need to get a replacement drive and cap assembly for your WaterBoss or Aquamaster water softener, you can go to our websites, either waterestore.com in the US, waterestore.ca in Canada. We offer free shipping and discount pricing. Be sure to keep checking your water softener as it's going through that regeneration cycle to make sure that there's no leaks. Click here for your next video on water softener troubleshooting, and I'll see you there. Any questions or comments? Add them down below.